Greetings, good people. Welcome back to the channel, baby. I'm pretty much confident in saying that it might really be over for Latasha Scott and the Xscape girls, okay? Because this recent interview that the ladies of Xscape did, minus Latasha Scott, was very, very telling and pretty much confirms all of the things that Tamika Scott has been saying about Latasha, right? So the trio, all right, Tiny, Kandi, and Tamika sat down with Access Atlanta's Vicky Rowe, and they shared a lot, okay? So just jumping right into it, giving a brief recap, Kandi says that she feels that everyone was always against her in the group early on. And Tiny basically said that she felt the need to defend Kandi against the Scott sisters. Because remember, if you watch the reality show Xscape and SWV Queens of R&B, Tamika pretty much stated that she went against Tiny and Kandi to show loyalty to her sister, even when her sister was wrong as two left shoes. Okay, so Kandi was pretty much kind of on her own. Tiny, being the nurturer that she appears to be, felt okay, I'm gonna take Kandi's side because I can't have my sister out here, fighting by herself. All right. They go into speaking about the blow up between Tamika, Latasha, and their mom that happened on the first episode of their reality show, right? Now, Tamika, she said that she felt attacked by both her mom and sister, rightfully so. If you guys saw the first episode, then you saw what it gave, okay? Now, Tamika, she said that she had forgiven her sister for stealing her money, but felt the need to pretty much fight back because she was being double teamed by her mom and her sister. So she hit back by, bringing up the stolen check. She said she knew that that would shut them up. So basically, before filming, she said, she kind of woo-side. She brought her daughter there because she thought maybe, her mom and her sister wouldn't gang up on her, but they didn't care. Tamika's daughter was there, and the mother and Latasha both acted up. So Tamika basically said in this interview that it just came out. Her back was against the wall. Basically, she was fed up. She knew by bringing that up, especially on camera, because they wanted to break fly with her while the cameras were rolling, and she said she knew that would shut them up, and it kind of did. Tamika's mama wanted them cameras off and out of her house. Anyway, now they go into talking about the whole royalties, what happened, how this came about, right? How all this fraud basically came about. So for some of you, this is just going to be, repetitive, but for those who are unaware, Tiny's mother was the one that found out about a company called Sound Exchange. Kandi did go into this on one of her episodes of Speak on It on her YouTube channel, right? So Sound Exchange is a company that pretty much collects royalties that artists and songwriters are entitled to, right? So Tiny's mother, she signed all the girls up to receive their royalty payments. Tamika received a call from Tiny's mom asking if she got her money because Tiny had gotten her money and it was a good chunk of change, right? So Tamika responded to Diane, who is Tiny's mother, "What money?" So Tiny's mom said, "Let me find you. You ain't been getting your checks. Hold on. Let me go do some more investigation and find out what happened to your money." So Tiny's mom found out that the address where Tamika's checks was mailed to was changed to her mother's address, right? Initially, Tiny's mom put Tamika's New York address down because Tamika said she was living in New York at the time, right? So, but they found out that it had been changed to Tamika and Latasha's mama's house. Now, Tamika also confirmed that Rocky and Latasha had been living at that address for some time as well. Now, Tamika, she says that she knows how the address was changed. The company, she spoke with the company advised Tamika that not only was the address changed, but confirmed that the checks were being cashed. Okay? And she said, "Ain't no allegedly." Now, the interviewer is like, "Well, we have to say allegedly. I got that from Kandi." Tamika said, "Ain't no allegedly. I'm right here. And basically, I'm telling you what went down." Okay? Tamika spoke with whoever at this company who was giving her all this information about where her money was at. And she said that she asked to see, Tamika that is, she asked to see the copies of the checks, and the company obliged. Now, I don't know how old some of y'all are, okay, but I'm an OG, triple OG. And I remember back in the day that the bank would mail you all the checks that you wrote from your checkbook. And they would also mail you back like any checks that were made out to you that were cashed, right? And they would stamp it on the back. They would stamp it, and I guess the checks, they served as like a receipt, for your records. And this was long before online banking was a thing. Okay, so Tamika said that the checks were endorsed because she saw the checks. The checks were endorsed, and it was her sister's handwriting, and it was deposited in her sister's husband account, Rocky's account. Now, Tamika did say this on her YouTube channel because there were a lot of people, and Kandi also kind of confirmed how this could happen, how someone could have access to your check. She spoke on it as well. And again, she said, ain't no allegedly. Now, in a previous video, I remember talking about how it was very well possible for someone to cash your check and I gave an example of how you can sign over your check to someone, or someone can sign their check over to you. Basically, you sign your name on the back of the check, and the person endorses under your signature as well. And shout out to the person who came in the comments on that video and stated the correct term for the transaction. I think they said it was like third party endorsement or something like that. Anyway, I know for a fact that this is something that could be done, okay, back in the day. Like, for instance, in New Jersey, you get a federal and a state check, right? And I remember my mother used to give me her state check every once in a while, okay, when you do your taxes. So she would sign the check. I would sign below her signature, and then I would deposit it into the bank. So the check would go in my account. Okay, we had the same bank. So I know for a fact that this is something that can be done. All right. Anyway, at that time, Kandi, she mentioned, she brought up, Kandi was like, wasn't there like a fake email that was created? And Tamika confirmed, listen to this, y'all, that a fake passport was used to impersonate her, and a fake email was created as like a point of contact. So she was communicating, whoever was communicating via this fake email with the company that issued the royalty payments. And Tamika says she ain't lying. Tamika also pointed out that on her authentic passport, she didn't sign her passport. And this fraudulent passport had a signature on it. Girl, this is trifling. This is trifling times 20, okay? Now, the interviewer, who did a great job, interviewer asked if Latasha offered any type of explanation, regarding this. And I thought that was a great question, because all now, like, Latasha ain't saying nothing. Honey, Tamika replied no. And Tamika said that the year that this all happened, she was quiet as a church mouse. And the mother was mad at Tamika. The interviewer then asked, what happened when the cameras went off. Remember when the mother, in the first episode, the mother was like, cut them cameras off and get out my house, right? The interviewer wanted to know what happened when the cameras were cut off. And Tamika said that she left. We saw that play out in the beginning of episode 2, where Tamika pretty much, Latasha, she left. She was quiet. And Tamika, she left with her daughter, and they were out. And she said, Mama, they stole my money. To which the mother said, you don't know what she may have needed the money for. Pretty much confirming that them checks was showing up to her house. And she was aware that Latasha and Rocky were cashing those checks. Trifling. The interviewer then asked about Tamika's, healing process. And Tamika said that she's still healing. And then Tiny kind of jumped in and said, she has our support. This is our sister, and she definitely has us to lean on. Okay. They shifted gears to speaking about, Kandi and all the drama going on with Housewives of Atlanta and this Xscape show. And Kandi said that, she was frustrated and that she was going off on anyone who pushed her buttons. Okay. So I guess we'll see Kandi getting buck with everybody on the upcoming season of Housewives of Atlanta. She said she actually confirmed, that the cameras started rolling again on Roa due to Drew announcing her divorce. You guys know Drew and Ralph, they filed for divorce. Kandi, she was asked if she reached out to Drew, and I thought this was very interesting. Kandi said that she reached out to her, and she said she texted her and said, I'm here if you need me. But she said that she's keeping her distance due to what happened with Apollo and Phaedra, okay? Because she said that Ralph and Todd are friends, and she said she kind of She's just keeping her distance. That way, no one can say she said anything. No one can say she did anything. And if you're familiar with the story with Phaedra, Kandi, and Apollo, then, I mean, that makes sense. I can totally understand, right? Regardless of who was right or wrong in that situation, I guess Kandi learned her lesson, right? And Kandi also mentioned that Drew Sidora is the lead actress in a new movie that Todd and Kandi produced. So she said she's basically trying to keep it cute and stay neutral, just being professional, and I can respect that. Now back to Latasha, honey. The interviewer asked if, how are things with you and your sister? How's things with Latasha and the rest of the ladies? Basically, she changed her number. I think Kandi confirmed this. Tamika confirmed this as well. She changed her number, and the only person that has her phone number is Tiny. And, I thought this was cowardly. She reached out to Tiny because Latasha is trying to promote her gospel career. She has a gospel album coming out, and there was a listening party that she invited Tiny to. And she told Tiny, oh, yeah, you can tell the other girls. And they didn't attend. I don't think Tiny attended either. So it just real tacky. It's like, like the girls are an afterthought. And I think that Latasha is keeping her distance because she's embarrassed. She has no explanation. I think this thing is too deep, and she just doesn't know how to admit that she was wrong. And I would like to think that Latasha probably wants to admit that she was wrong as two left shoes, but probably fears how that will make her husband look because they were both in cahoots. And maybe it's just, it's just not worth it. The damage will probably be worse than it is now. This is just absolutely crazy, okay? The interviewer asked, can this be repaired? Kandi said it can't be fixed with her because she said every time she tries to, mend fences with Latasha goes on this tour, this press tour, talking about how negative Kandi is and just kicking her back in. And I'm going to tell you something. Kandi and I share the exact same birthday. Not the same birth year, but the same birth date, right? And I'm going to tell you something about us Tauruses. Once a Taurus is done with you, just go on and move on with your life. Okay, all jokes aside, but I will say that we do give numerous chances. Some of us overlook a lot of things because we're loyal, we love hard, but some people do take advantage of that, and after a while, people get tired, and some of us, we find it more beneficial to be at peace and just part ways. But once a Taurus is done with you, child, good luck. Now, they shifted gears and they talked about an Xscape movie, okay? The interviewer asked, an Xscape movie, biopic, what's up? Are you down for that? Kandi is pretty much over it, but Tiny and Tamika, they feel like a series would be a good idea. And Tiny suggested something similar to the series that Wu-Tang has, which is not a bad idea, because they feel that there's so much more to their story than what is being told. They want to go all the way back to childhood, like how they grew up. If you guys watch the Wu-Tang series, then you pretty much know. I wouldn't be opposed to that. Who would pick that up though? And that would take time. And I think I don't see Kandi having the patience for that. And she did mention Kandi feels like everyone, ain't gonna keep it real and be transparent, and it won't be authentic. And she feels like if everyone is not going to basically come to the carpet and be 100% honest and keep it real about things that transpired in the past, things that are probably still going on now. And I'm assuming not just her group. I don't think she's talking about her group mates, maybe Latasha, yeah, and probably music executives, producers, etc. Then she says it's just not going to be worth it. So she's looking for more of something extremely authentic. And I mean, it could work. They could probably do like maybe a 3-night event on VH1. I'm not opposed to that. But going for a longer series, like with a season 1 and season 2, I don't know. Here's the thing. Latasha and her husband are low down. Latasha's mother is low down. I wish Tamika nothing but the best, and I'm glad that she's actually sticking up for herself, because the only way for you to heal is if you bring it up. You got to bring up that dirt. Like Iyanla would say, you can't heal what you don't acknowledge. If you don't acknowledge it, you cannot heal. And as it pertains to her relationship with her mother, She didn't say anything. She just kind of gave a look, and the interviewer was emotionally intelligent enough to understand, all right, I get it. You know what I'm saying? Judging by the body language, let me move on to the next question, which is great. But some people, for a story, you know what I mean, and a soundbite, they would have been extremely salacious. So I do like that this interviewer was very sensitive and fun. And they started asking like little, questions, trivia, and things like that. Asking, what do you guys like to do? Where do you guys like to hang out? What's your definition of downtime? How do you like to kick it? Yada yada. Kind of playing off some of the titles of Xscape songs. They did not talk about SWV. They didn't talk about the show a lot. Tiny says that she thinks that episode 4 is going to be real juicy. Episode 3 premiered last week Sunday, so this upcoming Sunday we'll get episode 4. So we shall see. I think it's a wrap. I mean, I don't, what else is there? Tiny, she doesn't mind, like, if when it comes to them doing shows together, as long as the business is intact, Tiny doesn't mind sharing a stage with all 4 of the ladies, Latasha included, right? But as far as Tamika and Kandi, I think they're over it. I think they're absolutely over it. And Tiny said that they all have chemistry. All 4 of them have chemistry on stage. But sometimes, I'm going to tell you something. The extra foolishness, the nonsense. Now, I'm down for shenanigans all day and twice on Sunday. Shenanigans, I'm with it. Because the shenanigans are innocent. No one gets harmed. But straight up foolishness, absolutely not. So Latasha's focused on her gospel career. And this wasn't well thought out. You have a very bad reputation of being a thief. Your husband doesn't have the greatest reputation either. So, I wish you nothing but the best. And I really wish that she would come clean and admit what she did wrong. She's so afraid to admit her wrongdoing. And I wonder, I sat here and I thought about, I wonder what their mother's church family, Gloria, what the church people think about you. And I'm pretty sure they'll probably sweep it under the rug too, because word on the street is, I don't know how true this is, that very same year where all this fraud was happening, that the mother allegedly made a large donation to the church, right? So I'm pretty sure she's greasing palms. If she was greasing palms, I'm pretty sure they'll remain quiet about certain things. But I really wonder what some of the church people think about all of this playing out on television. And I don't think that Tamika is intentionally trying to hurt her mother and her sister, but you guys back her into a wall. You stole from her. You embarrass her. You accuse her of being jealous. You make her out to be like she's wicked when you guys are the absolute positively wicked people. Well, there's only 6 episodes in the Xscape and SWV series. Episode 4 will be airing this Sunday. I definitely will have my review up for episode 3 very, very soon. But this is interesting. What do you guys think? And if you are wondering where to find the interview, okay, I just gave a brief recap. You know what I mean? It was good. It was worth the watch. Access Atlanta is the name of the YouTube channel. And if you go there, you'll see the Queens of R&B. Xscape dives deep into the good, the bad, and the ugly of their new show. All right. So I wish I could play it, but I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to play somebody else's work. It's best if you just go over there and watch it. But I think I gave a good recap and a great synopsis. But either way, drop down in the comments and share your thoughts, okay? I look forward to meeting you down in the comment section. That's all I got. Ain't got no more. I love you for watching, as always. Until next time, peace.